one is kind of a longevity ownership-based system. The second one is an objective system. The third one is a subjective system. So when we look at a longevity-based system, it's usually based on number of years of service and/or percentage ownership in the firm. When you have a completely objective system, it's very difficult to get people to do the important non-billable things that it takes to run a healthy firm. And I go back to the quote from Meister that says, our billable time determines our current income, our non-billable time determines our future. And so when you look at that and everything is objectively run through all of these statistics, the problem is how do you take on some of the things that Joey was talking about? How do you deal with some of those kinds of issues? Because they're not going to come through your compensation system. And so it becomes, and I've watched it over and over again, people don't want to serve on the executive committee, people don't want to be the head of a department, people don't want to be responsible for a strategic endeavor because it is not rewarded in the compensation system. Under a true objective system, the numbers tell it all. If a partner loses a significant client, they take a hit for it because it doesn't matter if that client was acquired or whatever it might be. Maybe there's some averaging system that goes on to help mitigate that to some degree. Under a subjective system, you take a look at that. Did we lose the client because of poor client service? Or did we lose the client because of some factor beyond that partner's control? So you can take a look at that more objectively. Let's take a look at some of the benefits and issues that are embedded within that system. So in this system, the benefits is compensation is performance-based. In fact, under a subjective system, the parameters of what you're rewarding probably ought to change almost every year in conjunction with what your goals are for that particular year. So let's talk about some of these best practices. So I think there's really three keys we want to talk about. Ensure the system is fair and rewards contributions. Articulate the performance expectations to remove the mystery. And use the compensation system to encourage partners and motivate them to do the right thing. Where our feeling is that your compensation system should take into account all of these 6 factors and that your bonus pool would move up somewhere to 30 to 50% of compensation. And so you're looking at all of those factors. What are they doing? Financial management, objective statistics, objective systems typically focus right here, maybe book of business, which is here, which you can debate whether it's financial or that. They don't deal with personal effectiveness, which is being together as a professional. They don't take into account leadership to any significant degree, and they don't take into account team development. And so we're missing 3 key elements. Tie compensation to goals that drive the firm's strategic plan. And really use that to a partner's strengths. It's hard for partners to have good goals if you don't have a good strategic plan. If you don't know what you're trying to get accomplished this year as a firm, it's hard to get partners to set goals that make any difference. And so, we look at that and we say best practice is to tie compensation to the goals. And we talk about when we do that, here's one of the things I would say, how do you do that? I think your compensation committee needs to take a look at this. A goal is like an Olympic dive. Let's use that as an example. There's 2 factors to that. There's a degree of difficulty and there's a degree of performance. If you pick wimpy goals, it doesn't matter if you do them at a high level of excellence. They're still wimpy goals, and you get a low score. I had one partner, and this is where it can get so distorted. I had one partner that got beat up. His assignment was, one of his goals was to have $450,000 of new business in the firm this year. He hit 415. He was $200,000 more than the closest partner. He got a 3 or 4 on his goal because he didn't hit the target. I'm thinking, you guys have got this all messed up. We We need to talk about this. I mean, the guy did an amazing job and you're beating him up for it. So think about that when you're looking at goals. How much of a push is the goal? How difficult it is, and how well did this person do in relation to it? That's where we're kind of talking about the compensation. And so we need to have a good idea of how that goes. We talk about using a compensation system. All of the things that we need to accomplish at a firm to remain independent and strategic in what we're doing, we have to have a compensation that matches up with that.